Hi everyone, Darren McGarvey here. I published a piece today in The Guardian about, I'm trying to just make sure this is a bit more still, it shakes about quite a bit. I published a piece in The Guardian today about the Born Famous programme. Basically, I didn't go into the Michelle Mone element of it. I just focused on the TV companies and the fact that they're the ones that are demanding this sort of content. But I tweeted later on saying that I believed that Michelle Mone was really just a kind of pawn in it, and this has kind of disappointed or offended some people, which is understandable because they see Michelle Mone as someone who is in the House of Lords, someone who's accumulated vast wealth, someone who's been given positions in government, and someone who has a platform to say her views, and also can get make the sort of move where she can get her daughter on a TV programme. At least that's how it seems. But when I'm calling her a pawn, it's not because I'm trying to explain away or dismiss the power and privilege that she has. It's simply that while that power is something that you do have to acknowledge, I don't particularly see her as a player in any way. She doesn't strike me as someone who is strategically navigating the corridors of broadcasting, politics, and business. She strikes me as someone who's been pretty successful and is pretty much trying to maintain her position and privilege by making any move that she can to keep herself relevant and to keep that perception that she's powerful, and that is ultimately what gives her a lot of power and privilege, is the belief that people have. They become invested in this idea that she is more than just a successful businesswoman who was a big deal, and now she might appear to be in some sort of decline. And so why do I call her a pawn? Well, first of all, I think what would piss someone like that off more? Would it be me tweeting about how powerful she is and how she's part of the UK Illuminati? Would it be me talking about, her decision to take part in this programme is going to have damaging social consequences? Would it be those things? Or would it be me saying, look, man, getting your daughter on the most trashy form of TV available is not exactly a power move. You know what I mean? Michelle Mone's involvement in this programme is insignificant, really. She could be replaced by any other wealthy person. And as for her being in the House of Lords, then ultimately what does she do there? She sits, she pretends to read stuff, she looks around to see what her pals have said about it, then she casts a vote. That's no powerful. That's plebish, right? That's weak. She operates within a very narrow framework of decisions, abilities, desires that are all about maintaining a position that she's gained. And this means that she's got to pivot from one thing to the next. And as much as it appears that she's very wealthy, she probably has a lot of outgoings, a lot of liabilities, a lot of other factors that create a lot of stress in her life, which is what will drive a lot of her decision making, because those will threaten her security instincts. This idea that she's in some sort of decline, this idea that she's not as well known, whatever. Then actually I don't perceive that as strength, and I don't perceive that as power. I perceive that as weakness. And that's not to say that she doesn't have power. I'm not talking necessarily on a kind of objective level if you're measuring her bank account or you're looking at all her accolades and jobs and all that and all the people who know who she is. I'm talking about internally. Internally, we mystify power and privilege by buying into the idea that certain people have it. Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is obviously the most powerful man in the world, but at the same time, every single room he goes into, he has no idea what anyone's talking about. And his whole personality is about trying to conceal that and draw attention to his success because he's very weak. He's a very weak man. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't mean that his power politically doesn't have implications. I'm just simply saying, what do you think would annoy someone like that more? You talking up how powerful they are, or really try to zero in on the flaws and the plebish behaviour? So that's what I meant by pawn. I'm not saying she's not culpable for being involved. I'm just saying that she's replaceable. In the grand scheme of things, being worth 50 million, while it's very, very, very vast wealth for the average person, in the world of the super wealthy, that's like change in your pocket, and that's where she wants to be. She wants to be in the super wealthy, and she can't. She isn't. So doing a program like this is not how super wealthy people behave. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. Super wealthy people, a lot of them are in the background. You know what I mean? They live a life that's hidden from view. Michelle Mone likes to be out there front and centre, drawing attention to her. She is her brand. And if she's skillful at one thing, it's managing her brand. Like, and getting us all to buy into the idea that it's relevant, that it's prestigious. And so I'm just not complying with that. So I call her upon to demystify it, because like the fact that these programs get made because the audience watch it, then also there's a lot of people in our society who aren't quite as powerful or quite as bright or quite as influential as we seem to think, or as they seem to think. And I just think that that's quite a good wee tool to have in your armoury, where you're just like, nah, you're just kind of a pawn in something bigger here, which is television, media, framing topics and subjects in order, not necessarily intentionally to trivialise them, but it's just an unfortunate accident of the fact that we don't tend to dive into poverty and look at it in anything other than superficial terms. So that's what I meant by that. I hope that clears it up. And have a nice day. Take it easy.